They discovered the shocking truth about Archangel Michael's role in Lucifer's rebellion. Few knew what truly happened that night in the celestial halls. It was a battle not just for power, but for the very essence of light and darkness. In a time before time, when the universe was still forming, a great divide emerged. Heaven, radiant and pure, stood in stark contrast to the darkness that loomed at its edges. Michael, resplendent and fearless, stood as the foremost defender of the divine. His wings shimmered like sunlight on water, casting warm glows around him. Yet, even in his strength, he felt an intensity in the air that chilled him to the bone. The whispers of dissent hung like thick fog. Lucifer, once a favored angel, had begun to see the beauty of rebellion. His voice, smooth as silk, echoed in the hearts of many, planting seeds of doubt and self. The first flickers of a rebellion sparked in celestial minds. The importance of this conflict spiraled beyond celestial concerns. The very fabric of creation trembled at the thought of its unraveling. Angelic beings, who once flourished in harmony, were torn. Could they abandon their beloved home for the allure of freedom? A battle raged not just against each other, but within themselves. Memories of joy intermingled with uncertainty cast shadows upon the once bright realm. Then the night deepened. Michael found himself amidst an uproar. The sounds of sirens and cries echoed in the heavenly atmosphere. Glimmers of light flashed as angels took sides, shock rippled across the mount of heaven. Unexplainable miracles arose to witness. Flames of fire danced in the air. Some said it was Lucifer's magic, while others insisted it was a manifestation of Michael's desperate will to protect. The scene unfolded like fragments of an epic tale, each moment more precarious than the last. Every gaze was locked on Michael, who faced Lucifer amid the chaos. The thrill of uncertainty consumed him. Would he succeed in guiding the flock, or would he fall into the abyss? Hearts raced with questions, breaths quickened with anticipation. Who would reign when the dust settled? What would become of the light if darkness triumphed? The fate of heaven seemed entwined with a choice steeped in intrigue and turmoil. What other secrets would reveal themselves in the shadows of this battle? Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. As the skies above the heavenly realm crackled with the energy of conflict, the celestial beings gathered, each caught in a tide of fear and anticipation. Whispers created ripples as they spoke of destiny and duty, of loyalty to the one who had birthed them or to the one who had turned his back on the light. The air felt thick with the weight of what was unfolding, a kaleidoscope of emotions swirling through the once harmonious corridors of heaven. Michael stood firm at the precipice of this tumultuous crossroad, his heart a tempest of resolve and doubt. His gaze was fixed upon Lucifer, whose brilliance had once illuminated the very heavens. Now, that same light twisted into something dark and alluring. The tension hung palpably between the two, a cosmic thread poised to snap. Brother, Lucifer's voice rang out, resonating with a forbidden allure. Why must we cling to a misinterpreted notion of order? Is it not the way of creation to strive for more? To evolve? The words dripped like honey, sweet yet dangerous, stirring the minds of the assembled hosts. Michael's response echoed with authority and fervor. It is in the acceptance of our divine purpose that we find true freedom. To rebel against our Creator is to rebel against the essence of our being. You were radiant, Lucifer, chosen to be a beacon of light. With every exchange, angels shifted uncomfortably among themselves, caught between brotherly ties and the pull of Lucifer's vision of autonomy. Could they forsake the warmth of unity for the chilling possibility of freedom? The question reverberated in their hearts. As doubt seeped in like a creeping fog, the moment stretched infinitely, as silence enveloped the expanse before erupting into chaos once more. The first of the chosen, a band of loyal seraphim, filed from their celestial sentinels toward Lucifer's side, drawn by the intoxicating whisper of rebellion. Michael felt the tremor of betrayal echo through his very being, a wound deeper than any physical battle could inflict. And that instant, time itself seemed to pause. It became clear that this battle was not merely one for power or territory, it was a war for the very essence of identity. What would arise from this cosmic clash? The preservation of their divine purpose, or a fracture that could echo into eternity? Amidst the turmoil, a vision enveloped Michael, a glimpse of a creation beyond imagination, unmarred by sin. He saw a tapestry woven with threads of love, hope, and unity, glowing with the potential of what could be. Could his resolve be strong enough to carry the weight of these conflicting truths? Michael felt a shiver run through him as he realized that the true battle lay within. He was not only fighting for the heavens but also grappling with his own sense of identity and purpose. As he stared into the eyes of Lucifer, Michael saw not just an adversary but a reflection of all that could be lost, the bond of brotherhood that once defined them. Lucifer, he beseeched, it is not too late to return to the light. But the winds of rebellion swept around Lucifer's aura, igniting something primal within the hearts of the angels gathered. The light faded into shadows, and a dangerous allure began to overshadow the brilliance of unity. Each angel's heart was a battlefield, stirred by the words of the fallen one, and the fear of condemnation loomed like a specter over the sacred realm. The echoes of angelic cries filled the air. What is right? What is the path? The question lingered, suspended in the atmosphere, leaving each one to ponder their purpose. How could they discern the path of righteousness when the very fabric of creation hung in the balance? What if the pursuit of freedom itself became the chain that bound them to a fate darker than they could imagine? The tension thickened as uncertainty threaded itself into the hearts of the faithful. Their choices were shaping the narrative of existence itself, and as the echoes of rebellion swirled, one question remained unacknowledged: what would these celestial beings become when the battle was won or lost? Would they still recognize themselves amidst the choices that lay ahead? As darkness gathered like a storm cloud above the heavenly realm, the tumult of roiling emotions swelled within the hearts of the assembled angels. Each celestial being felt their allegiance tested, caught in the fragile dance between light and shadow. Once harmonious voices were now fractured, each echoing a different sentiment that threaded through the fabric of their existence. Michael, still standing resolutely against the tide of insurrection that Lucifer had summoned with persuasive words, wrestled internally with the images that lingered in his mind. The vision of creation untainted by discord flickered against the cacophony of discord. An image of joy, harmony, and ever-expanding beauty painted the canvas of his heart, igniting within him both longing and despair. Yet, with each loyal angel that wavered, a flicker of doubt crept into his conviction. Lucifer, perceiving the struggle in Michael's heart, pressed on. Do you not see, dear brother? The Creator himself gifted us with the spark of divinity, the power to own our destinies. What joy could be found in blind servitude? Is there no greater calling than to foster our own will? Each word poured from his lips like molten steel, shaping the realities of those around him. As Michael searched the swirling eyes of his brethren, he recognized an unsettling truth threaded through their fear and curiosity. The fabric of heaven was taut, pulled by the opposing forces of faith and freedom. Each angel stood upon their precipice, hearts racing at the thought of stepping off into the unknown. The host of creation hovered in a moment of paralyzing choice. Freedom is but a shadow without love, Lucifer, Michael countered, striving to maintain his grip on the essence of their being. Without duty, we are but echoes in a void. Our purpose is the light we were designed to share, the bond we forged through our devotion to the Creator. His voice reverberated with an urgency that belied the fear coursing through him, yet, in the sacred silence following his rallying cry, a chilling realization dawned. The love Michael spoke of, once a beacon among the heavenly hosts, was increasingly perceived as an imposition, a shrouded bond that stifled the deep-seated desire for autonomy within the hearts of many. Was the light he cherished truly binding them, or did it now seem like a shackle to their burgeoning identities? As the angels hesitated, caught between the clarity of divine purpose and the call of individual expression, a new thought crystallized in Michael's mind: his own pivotal role in this unfolding drama. The whispers of destiny seemed to suggest that it was not merely Lucifer's choice that had spurred this rebellion, perhaps it was the truth within Michael himself that had set the stage. Had he, too, contributed to the chasm between duty and desire? An ache gripped his heart, fueling an unsettling fear he had long buried. Could it be, he pondered quietly to himself, that my unwavering resolve has unintentionally precipitated this rift? Shadows of doubt encroached upon his thoughts. The realization that his very strength might have sown the seeds of discord confounded him. In his efforts to uphold the law of love, had he neglected the flames of desire and individuality burning bright in his brethren's souls? As murmurs of dissent echoed among the multitude, Michael sensed the equilibrium tilt precariously, a divine conflict veering towards a fractured end. He heard echoes of anguished cries for something more acceptance, more understanding, more freedom. Each plea carried a weight, a profound insistence for a truth that stretched beyond the luminous order he had fought to preserve. Amidst the turmoil, with each fervent heartbeat echoing with uncertainty, another question rose like mist from the depths of their celestial doubts: could love exist in the absence of freedom? Or were the chains of duty creating an illusion of safety that stifled the very essence of creation's purpose? As Michael wrestled with these fervent thoughts, a new peril flashed before him. What if the very nature of their existence was on the brink of transformation? Would they face dawn as champions of light, or would the choice lead them into shadow, forever altering the celestial host? In this moment of profound conflict, what truth would emerge, and what legacy would it forge in the heavens above? As the weight of uncertainty thickened in the air like vaporous fog, the angels stood frozen, suspended between diverging paths. A tumult of thoughts roiled and wrangled within their minds, each angel wrestling with the implications of the choices laid bare before them. What was expected of them? To stand firm with Michael, the guardian of order, or to venture into the uncharted realms of freedom with Lucifer, the harbinger of individualism? In this charged atmosphere, a younger angel named Celestial, known for his bright spirit and compassionate heart, broke the silence that enveloped them. Taking a step forward, he hesitantly addressed the gathering, his wings shivering with both fear and hope. Is it not in our nature to question? To explore the depths of our own being? The Creator fashioned us with a spark of His own essence. Should we not reflect upon that, even if it leads us into darkness? His voice, though timid, bore the weight of generations of unasked questions that resonated through the hearts of his peers. In shifting his focus towards self-exploration, Celestial inadvertently struck a nerve, igniting a flicker of awareness in those who listened. Could it indeed be that questioning the very foundations of their existence might lead to insight? Michael turned his gaze to Celestial, caught off guard by the boldness of his words. Every question holds within it a seed of understanding, he said slowly, measuring the impact of his response. But we must consider the cost of unfettered freedom. The light of our purpose illuminates the path; without it, darkness could swallow us whole. Lucifer seized upon this moment, sensing the tide shift yet again. Ah, but, dear Michael, do we not elevate our existence by deeper inquiry? What harm is there in exploring possibility? The very essence of creation was born from the breath of potential, not the chains of predictability. To embrace freedom is to embrace our true selves. The murmurs intensified among the angels, and within the cacophony, doubt began to blossom like a treacherous vine. Were they not to seek the fullness of their identity? Was fear of the unknown truly a worthy sacrifice for the sake of maintaining harmony? Celestial's question momentarily hung in the air, refusing to be silenced by the fear of discord, and yet, in the depths of their hearts simmered another tension. Each of them upheld the duty of love. Was it simply misguided fervor to cling to this tenet now? As they wrestled with their convictions, a whisper of truth entered the fold. How could love even exist if it were born of obligation alone? A spectral tension then filled the space between the two powers, a mysterious convergence of freedom and duty that left all to grapple with their own understanding of divine existence. Michael felt a shiver of dread as his gaze met Celestial's, understanding that each of them was now standing on the precipice of a precipice, peering into an abyss that refused to condescend to clarity. You champion freedom, he spoke, pulling at the heart of the matter, but with it comes the potential for untold chaos. Love transcends freedom when it is freely given, yet when autonomy is absolved of purpose, what remains? Lucifer, undeterred, answered in harmonious defiance, that is the very point. True self-expression thrives in the absence of coercion. If the bonds of love turn into chains, how can we claim to serve him in our truest form? Perhaps we are called not just to serve, but to question the very nature of our servitude. As the currents of emotion ebbed and flowed through the assembly, uncertainty morphed into potential. The once clear paths became obscured by burgeoning doubts and uncharted desires. What was their role in this unfolding narrative, and what did it mean for their existence moving forward? Thus, they stood at the crossroads of a decision, each heart heavy with the weight of their own truth. Could the pursuit of individuality truly exist alongside the bonds of love? If the light of their purpose dimmed, would they find strength in the shadows, or would they lose themselves altogether? Each angel faced their own reflection in that moment, asking what freedom truly cost, and so, as the golden light cascaded through the heavenly realm, the figures stood apprehensively, pondering the ultimate question: what would they choose, and how would that choice shape the very foundation of creation? In the stillness that followed, the flickers of extinguished hope began to spark anew within the assembly. The weight of Seliphiel's words reverberated, and angels exchanged nervous glances, searching for understanding, for a path not yet lost. One by one, they began to reflect, turning inward in their contemplations, grasping at something profound and unsettling. Among them was Seraphiel, a fierce warrior with a heart attuned to justice yet burdened by the wisdom of ancient sorrows. Her voice emerged, calm and resolute, slicing through the tension. What if we extend our inquiry beyond our present stalemate? If both of you, Michael and Lucifer, are made in the image of the Creator, could it be that your destinies are intertwined in ways we have yet to grasp? The mention of intersection brought a momentary hush. A shared sense of curiosity hung in the air, shifting the focus from conflict to exploration. Seliphiel's eyes lit up with the glimmer of possibility as he replied, "Could we join forces in our discovery? Is there a truth waiting to be unveiled that transcends both order and chaos?" The question hung there, enticing and daunting at once. A flicker of understanding ignited among the assembly. They had assumed the paths of their principles were starkly divided, yet here was a suggestion that perhaps, in the depths of their struggle, lay a greater truth. A synthesis between the two realms. Lucifer, sensing the spirit of inquiry wrapping around him like an old friend, nodded slowly. "If we choose to look, we may find that the heart of rebellion does not solely dwell in chaos, nor does the spirit of order lie in suppression. Could there be a rebellion that leads to liberation, allowing us all to fulfill our divine purpose?" Michael's brow furrowed, an aching heart wrestling with the confusion of his own convictions. "It is a delicate balance," he spoke, harking back to his role, "but what if the questioning leads to a truth that destabilizes the very foundation upon which we stand? How far will we venture before stepping into darkness, leaving the light and love we were created to embody?" Yet, Seraphiel's words beckoned the projected light into shadowed thoughts. Is it not the nature of creation to evolve? Could love also mean the courage to venture into the unknown? Should we not consider that in every heart lies the spark of curiosity that calls for compassion rather than conformity? The gatherings of wings resonated with fervor. Each contemplative spirit in that celestial space began to acknowledge an underlying quest. They felt the urge to uncover the mysteries that their existence encapsulated. Amidst the turmoil of stifled concerns arose an unrelenting desire to know what is essential for love to thrive within the realms of such complexities. As they stood absorbed in thoughts so deep, the fabric of the heavens twinkled with the echo of nostalgia. Memories drifted like autumn leaves, recounting tales of harmony inspired by trust and the shadowed aspects of rebellion. The angels remembered that time when light had danced seamlessly with shadows, and all of existence swelled with the colors of creation. The unity they had once felt became a thread in their shared narrative tangled with experiences of distrust. But there was one truth that lay just beneath the surface. Amidst the fervor for freedom, there remained a reluctance to confront what lay at the heart of Michael's order and Lucifer's freedom. What if, Seliphiel mused, in our pursuit of self, we uncover a shocking truth about Michael and his role in this rebellion? Are there nuances of his authority that remain hidden from us, concealed in the very shadows we seek to understand? Michael felt a tremor at the edges of his soul. Was he merely a guardian, or was there an unacknowledged aspect of his existence, one intertwined with the choices of those he led? The thought set a tremor of doubt within him. In their mutual pursuit, had they neglected the weight of past revelations that were woven into their present? The celestial assembly remained poised on the brink of understanding, floating in radiant confusion, yet tethered to an unspoken promise, that in their shared commitment to love, they must also explore the intricate dynamics of each other's truths, and perhaps unearth the kernel of understanding that would illuminate their destiny. The air thickened with anticipation and sorrow intertwined, for the heavens were moving toward a reckoning. Could this unraveling narrative point to a deeper revelation, a turning point from which love, autonomy, and purpose could emerge united rather than divided? In such contemplations, a new question arose. What truth lay concealed within Michael's past that could change the course of their destinies, and could the answers to their queries ultimately illuminate a path that none had yet imagined? In the midst of the swirling thoughts and fervent discussions, a silence fell upon the assembly as a golden light began to shimmer from the edge of the heavens. Seraphiel, sensing a new presence, nudged the conversation towards the forefront of their collective curiosity. What if the source of our discontent and our desire to understand was, in fact, an ancient narrative that binds us all? Perhaps it is time to confront the shadows that dwelled even before the conflict arose. As the light pulsed and expanded, a figure emerged, not of form but of radiant essence, an embodiment of truth that seemed to envelop the entire gathering in ethereal warmth. This was the voice of the Creator, a presence that had been felt but seldom seen. To grasp the intertwining destinies you question is to heed the whispers of time long past. It spoke, rolling like soft thunder, echoing with authority and love. The angels listened intently. Before Michael stood as the guardian of order, he too was a seeker, one who wrestled deeply with the weight of divine expectations. In those earliest days, did he not wonder how much freedom could exist within love, and how much love could be born from the will to guide? Intrigued murmurs rippled through the assembly. Michael, his heart suddenly heavy, felt the weight of every soul gazing upon him. Was I ever insufficient in my role? He whispered, a question laden with vulnerability. Did I ever stifle the very free will I sought to protect? The voice continued, encompassing them all. In the beginnings of your existence, the boundaries of order and chaos were seen as opposites. Yet, how often have such extremes held the potential for balance? Each angel, each being, was woven into the fabric of creation with purpose and potential, one that can reflect both grace and struggle. With newfound fervor, Seraphiel interjected, but does this mean that the ancient authority bestowed upon us was indeed held with an understanding, or might it also harbor shadows? Can love, freedom, and authority coexist, or must they sacrifice one another to manifest? Lucifer, his brow furrowed with contemplation, pondered aloud, in seeking meaning from pain, could we define the roles we play in one another's existence? What does it mean to be bound by love but freed by understanding? If I have rebelled, is it not to seek a deeper truth? The shimmering essence spoke once more, filling the air with clarity. Rebellion, dear ones, can serve the dual purpose of illumination and concealment. Michael's struggles resonate through the echoes of love's authority. Yet, the essence of his caring has often blinded him to the whispers of doubt, fears masked within his charge. A delicate balance appeared to weave itself through the tension in the gathering. Michael, could it be that your authority has made you blind to parts of your own heart? Perhaps in the essence of Lucifer's rebellion lies not just chaos but a yearning for understanding that you too have sought to suppress. In that moment, the assembly turned its heart toward Michael, collectively holding a breath. They sensed that a revelation was at hand, one that might redefine their comprehension of divine order. Michael's struggle mirrored that of many of them, a grappling with the very essence of authority, figurehead, and the truths that lie within the roles they played. As shadows danced in the corners of their consciousness, the questions grew heavier. What truths have they ignored within their divine framework? In the pursuit of maintaining order, have they overlooked the essence of compassion that fuels true freedom? The air crackled with implicit understanding, yet a profound uncertainty lingered. What if rebellion was not merely a journey into chaos, but rather an invitation to rediscover the depths of their love? As their hearts ached for answers, they felt an intimate bond form, a thread tethered to their quest for truth, yet veiled in enigma. In their pursuit, could they indeed shift the paradigm of their age-old conflict? Who amongst them would have the courage to be the first to look deeper and question not just the others, but the truth hidden within themselves? The luminous figure shifted, its essence coalescing into a more defined presence, yet remaining ineffable, as the assembly stood captivated in the grip of revelation. The fabric of reality is an intricate tapestry, each thread woven with intention. The balance of love and freedom does not diminish through your roles, but rather flourishes therein, if only you dare to explore those caverns of vulnerability and doubt that each of you harbors. A spell of silence ensued, thick with anticipation. Michael felt an unfamiliar sensation creeping through him, a mix of fear and insight, as if those ancient questions began to tease at the edges of his conscience. What indeed lay beneath the facade of my purpose? Do I wear the mantle of order, or does it wear me? His voice was but a whisper against the thunderous backdrop of the voice's proclamation. With every eye upon him, the aura surrounding Michael began to shimmer, revealing a kaleidoscope of memories long buried. A time before the mantle, where choices loomed large on the horizon, and he too grappled with the cost of righteous duty. Even as the light illuminated shadows of doubt, it echoed the profound love that had driven him, love that demanded clarity, yet strained under the weight of unyielding expectations. Michael, the voice intoned softly, understand this. Your authority does not negate your humanity. Your struggles are as crucial as every soul you guide. To rise above is but one facet of the journey, to feel, to doubt, and to reflect is equally sacred. Intrigued murmurs washed over the assembly again, intertwining with the enchantment of the moment. Michael's heart, once fortified by certainty, now shimmered with the vulnerability of revelation. What if the very authority he wielded was a reflection of his own fear of inadequacy? A fear that may have led him to act in ways that stirred confusion rather than clarity. Lucifer, sensing the shift as the shadows turned to lighter hues, leaned forward. What truth is there in discovering that your rebellion, too, might have been born from the desire to be seen? Our actions are but echoes of a greater purpose, oftentimes misunderstood. Could it not be that my seeking was a call for deeper connection rather than discord? The assembly buzzed with contemplation as Michael weighed the gravity of Lucifer's insight. Could it be, dear brethren, that in my quest to shield and protect, I inadvertently shunned those who most needed to be heard? In striving for the safety of order, did I blind myself to the intricate hues of dissent until it splintered into rebellion? The voice, radiating with compassion, affirmed, truth exists within multifaceted perspectives. The very fabric of love's authority weaves through every choice, every rebellion, and every yearning. What you label as division may very well serve as a crucible for spiritual awakening, a vital part of the celestial dance of understanding. The question rippled through the assembly, weaving itself into the hearts of each angel. What if, within each conflict, lay divine guidance disguised as a challenge? Was it possible that the chaos they feared was but the raw material for growth, transformation, and ultimately a truer connection with one another? As the golden light pulsed, illuminating the doubts and fears, the future seemed suspended within a cosmic breath, inviting a revelation that might reshape not just their understanding of one another but the very beings they were destined to become. With frayed strings of resilience weaving through the atmosphere, new questions emerged, resonating amidst the assembly. If freedom and authority could coexist, what new responsibilities burgeoned within their hearts? And what might arise when they venture forward with both courage and compassion to ask themselves, where do I stand in this age-old conflict, and how might I change the narrative that shapes it? As the radiance of the moment lingered in the celestial atmosphere, a silence hung heavily, pregnant with the unspoken revelations. Michael, feeling the weight of the assembly's gaze, sensed that the heart of his doubt was not just his to bear. This probing introspection began to ripple through the minds of his brethren, igniting seeds of discord mixed with hope. The golden light seemed to beckon, urging them to peer deeper into the chasms of their shared experience. Tell us, great voice, a cherub spoke, voice quaking slightly, what of the path we tread between devotion and desire? In pursuing our roles, have we not strayed too far from the authenticity of our souls? Are duty and love at odds, or do they pulse in rhythm, intertwined like the threads of the tapestry? An echo of agreement filled the gathering, their collective curiosity swirling like autumn leaves caught in a gentle wind. The voice, with a grace emanating clarity, responded, the heart's journey is multifaceted, and each soul is tasked with unearthing the treasures buried deep within. The challenge lies not in the roles you inhabit but in your willingness to embrace the vulnerable truth that comes with them. Yet within the depths of that wisdom, shadows danced, suggesting the complexity of their existence. Michael pondered the cherub's question, realizing that the revelation he stood upon was but a precipice overlooking a vast expanse. How easily they had conflated adherence to order with true connection to one another. Perhaps, Lucifer interjected, his presence now less adversarial and more reflective, the essence of each role is to engage with the discomfort of uncertainty. Shall we not explore the occurrence of our fractures as a means to forge a deeper understanding of divine love? Is it not in the dissonance of our choices that we may discover a clearer song? Indeed, the air thickened, as thoughts danced between them, and Michael felt the energy shift yet again. The assembly wrestled with the reality that justice and empathy were not mere companions but intertwined currents flowing through the river of existence, each capable of enriching the other when given the space to coalesce. Their roles as guardians and overseers were suffused with the potential to nurture rather than merely protect. Darkness and light existed in a delicate balance, and as wisdom ebbed and flowed, the question arose, how often had they prioritized order over the imperative to listen and understand one another? If the need for love could fuel rebellion, what might it birth in unity? With an open heart, Michael found himself yearning for clarity in his mission, dislodging him from the confines of righteousness into the expansiveness of compassion. What indeed is my task, he mused aloud, almost as a prayer, if my wings are meant to carry not just order but the intricate dance of love, vulnerability, and understanding? As the golden shimmer deepened, illuminating walls erected by misunderstandings, an energy of shared inquiry swept through the assembly. Each being felt the ripple forge deeper connections, cradling their vulnerabilities without fear. They were realizing that any conflict harbored within their ranks had, in some fashion, mirrored the very struggles of the heart. Their whisperings became a chorus of reflection. What guidance lay hidden in the stories of their past, in the choices made and the voices unheeded? Could it be that when met with awareness, the darkest moments revealed pathways to forging a deeper bond among them? As the ethereal glow engulfed them, revealing their innate interconnectedness, the question hung like mist in the air: could they, in their quest to evolve within their primordial calling, embrace the beauty of discord to cultivate an understanding that transcended fear? And if they chose that path, what transformation still awaited them in the unfolding journey ahead? Amidst the reverberating chords of contemplation, the assembly remained poised in a state of suspended curiosity, the glow of divine light framing their silhouettes in gentle warmth. Each angel, once steeped in their own certainty, was beginning to take tentative steps toward an unsettling truth. To discover the essence of their own hearts, they must become both witness and participant in the chaos of their shared experiences. Michael, standing steadfast yet vulnerable, felt an awakening within him, a vision steeped in the complexity of love and the tangles of their past. He recalled the vision he had been granted long before this moment, a glimpse of the valley of shadows stretching beyond the heavens, where choices were weighed not solely by their outcomes but by the intent that lay behind them. In this sacred field of every decision made, threads of rebellion danced alongside hopes of reconciliation. As these memories surfaced, he turned to Lucifer, whose luminous spirit had clouded with the heaviness of introspection. "What is this tale we weave, brother?" Michael asked, his voice steady yet filled with the weight of inquiry. "Is it folly to tread the ancient paths, or can they lead us to something yet unseen?" Lucifer raised an eyebrow, the corners of his eyes crinkling with the fragility of forgotten innocence. "We are the cartographers of fate, dear Michael. It is not folly to seek the truth in our shared story, a truth sometimes hidden beneath layers of regret and yearning. It is only through earnest exploration of our fractures that we may begin to reconcile the harmonious vision we once held." Their conversation ebbed and flowed like the increasing tide, drawing in perspectives and reflections from the assembly. Every celestial being bore witness to a grand tapestry woven from the delicate threads of choice and consequence, painted in hues of divine intention and mortal longing. One cherub, moved by the sincere outpouring of emotion, spoke timidly, "But if we hold the power of creation, what then are we to make of the reality that we have constructed? Are our reflections more than the scars of defiance? Can we break free from the patterns echoing through our histories?" An ethereal silence embodied their contemplation, inviting them to confront the unsettling echoes of their shared histories. The air crackled with a profound Tenziona presentiment that beneath the facade of order, a deeper story lay in waiting, yearning to be unfurled. With measured grace, the voice returned, stirring the assembly's collective heart. "The path to understanding one another is not found in alignment but in the courage to journey through the discord of your natures. Each role plays a part in a greater symphony, revealing the beauty carved within chaos. The strength of your love lies in the willingness to question not only the actions but the purposes behind them. As these words washed over them, Michael felt a smoldering spark kindle within, a revelation that ignited an urgency to question not only their current responsibilities but the origins of those duties. What shaped the divisions among them, and how was it that love, even in its most profound flourish, had sometimes bloomed in hostile soil? Yet even as shadows began to shift and new clarity unfolded, Michael understood they were still standing at the threshold of an inquiry long overdue. Would they dare not only to gather the stories of their past but to transform those tales into a guiding beacon for their collective future? In their quest for unity, how might they learn from the divide created by that one sacred desire, now tangled in the broader strokes of rebellion? In the quiet of their assembly, uncertainty loomed, as yet unformed and unfathomed. What shocking truth still lay intertwined in their release, a truth that could illuminate the way forward or deepen the chasms between guardian and rebel? The question lingered, suspended in the very essence of their shared existence, awaiting the spark of revelation waiting just beyond the horizon. As the golden light enveloped the celestial assembly, a quiet intensity settled among them, breathing life into the revelation swirling on the cusp of understanding. Michael, standing resolute yet vulnerable, stared at the gathering of angels, each face reflecting the tumult of their hearts, the weight of their choices, and the unyielding desire to reclaim the unity they had severed. In that hallowed space, time seemed to stretch infinitely, threading possibility into every corner of consciousness. The essence of the voice echoed anew, reverberating within their souls, urging them to look deeper, to dive into the wellspring of their motivations and the intricate fabric of their creation. Beloved beings of light, the voice intoned gently, washing over them like a soothing balm. Your existence is not bound solely by the light you embody or the shadows you evade. Rather, it is in the courageous embrace of both that you may discover the heart of love, its truest essence. To grasp this truth, you must venture forth with hearts wide open, unafraid of the complexities that bind you. Lucifer, whose spirit had been heavy with reflection, now stood with eyes igniting as if the very embers of hope had been ignited within. We are but notes in this divine symphony, each contributing to a melody that resonates through the ages. We cannot shun the dissonance or chaos, we must embrace them, explore their meanings, their roots, and in doing so, we may unveil a new dawn, one that awakens a profound understanding. The angels exchanged knowing glances, that profound turning point dawning upon their collective heart. Michael felt what had once been an unbridgeable divide begin to soften, the fire of resilience warming the cold remnants of fear. But still, within him stirred a question: what lay hidden beneath the hurt, and could they truly forgive each other and themselves enough to step beyond familiar shores? Taking a deep breath, Selephiel stepped forward, his youthful voice laced with conviction. Should we not honor one another's truths? He asked, turning to face the assembly. To dance through the shadows we have created, and yet, in that dance, grow and reshape the spirit of love that is so much larger than our individual stories. A hushed awareness filled the air, crystalline and full of potential. Yes. What if we gather the fragments of our fractured tapestry, Selephiel chimed in, excitement threading her voice, and weave them anew? What if each shadow holds a lesson, each wound reveals a hidden strength, leading us into a glorious union that manifests both order and freedom? Michael, his heart now unburdened from the fear of his own inadequacies, took a step towards his brethren. Then let us embark together on this journey where each soul, affected by rebellion or authority alike, plays its part in forging light from the darkness. Then, Lucifer took a breath, one filled with the weight of the past yet buoyed by newfound understanding. I have asked you, Michael, to help me see my own truth. I once believed rebellion must mean division, but perhaps it can cradle understanding. Ours is a task to bear together, to become one with the desire to explore every shadow, to reveal the innate light. As those words wrapped around the assembly, the questions they had feared began to unfurl like petals seeking the sun. Let us confront the truth hidden within every argument, Michael declared, his heart pounding with clarity. What binds us does not divide, it opens channels to compassion. I have questioned the nature of my freedom, Lucifer admitted, only to realize I was chasing the semblance of acceptance that needed nothing more than room to breathe. Footsteps echoed through the space as angels embarked towards each other, extending hands in a gesture of solidarity that transcended their preferences, and amid such raw vulnerability, the light surrounding them shifted, consolidating their strength. Forgiveness resonated not in the absence of pain but in the willingness to face it together. The assembly held their breaths, hearts collectively optimistic for what might lie ahead. Each celestial being sensed the raw notion that echoed in the vastness of creation: they must not only be symbols of light or embodiments of darkness, they were both, intricately interwoven. As the golden warmth washed over their wings, they began to see their own reflections within one another, shining with conviction, confusion, and ultimately hope. Each member of the covenant shared whispered stories of struggle and aspirations for understanding. Their lessons became invitations for love where none had existed before. Drawing closer, they united in a circle, their wings brushing, creating a sacred space amidst the chaos. Michael felt the pulse of their hearts intertwining, reverberating rhythmically like the steady beating of one celestial heart. The hesitance began to fade, gentleness flowed between them, as secrets once cloaked in shadows emerged to the surface of light. This, Michael whispered, an earnest revelation burning bright within him, is the essence of our strength. Our shared vulnerability amplifies our love. In every battle, we discover a deeper intimacy not only with each other but with the divine purpose that flows through us. As the assembly held the weight of this revelation, a majestic harmony radiated from their hearts, an illuminating energy surging through the hearts of each angel, binding them anew, sanctifying their individual truths as intrinsic to the whole. In that moment, the extraordinary twist of their fate emerged, a union crafted not from fear of fragmentation, nor from the blind commitment to duty, but from the tender yet audacious choice to veer towards love. They would stand against the shadows not as adversaries, but as allies forged in genuine understanding, not bound by mere loyalty but united in the deep desire to embrace vulnerability alongside their strength. As they gazed upon one another, courage blossomed anew, illuminating their path toward reconciliation and reclamation of their divine dance, a dance that fostered freedom woven through love and purpose. In that final communion, they felt the golden light encircle them, a radiant presence, bustling with unspoken promises. What they had long considered a fracture was merely a transition point, a divine opportunity layered in forgiveness and understanding. As the murmurs of their divine communion swelled, the realm echoed with newfound truth. The weight that had long burdened Michael began to disperse like mist before the dawn, and they, each and every angel, emerged not enriched by conflict, but adorned with compassion. From this revelatory moment, the narrative of their existence shifted forever, embossed into the annals of creation. What lay ahead was filled with possibility. Their stories, once marked with discord, now blossomed into a luminous unity, proving that even the deepest divides could give rise to an understanding that transcended an understanding that echoed far beyond the confines of the heavens, touching the hearts of countless souls yet to be born. And as Michael, the once stalwart guardian of order, inhaled the warmth of this revelation, he understood his greatest strength lay not in shielding the light, but illuminating the shadows, transforming every soul into a partner in creation, a communion of love beckoning the future to bend towards the divine. In a tender whisper that ignited every heart present, Michael declared, "We choose love, and in doing so, we embrace our truest selves." And thus, as the celestial assembly merged within the embrace of light, the heavens themselves witnessed a transformation echoed throughout all realms, a testament to love's ceaseless power to bind, heal, and inspire, calling every soul toward the brilliance of eternal hope.